I was told I was going to be a lawyer. I thought I wanted to be a doctor, but I ended up as an AI engineer. Let me walk you through my journey. When you're Black, talk too much, or even the least bit argumentative, you've definitely been told once or twice you'd make a great lawyer. So in high school, I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, at least for the first 2 years, and I was in a program called laws. But then by grade 11, I started to like the sciences a little bit more, especially chemistry. So then I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm going to be a doctor. So I ditched law, focused on the life sciences, and becoming a doctor was my plan going into undergrad. But there was one little problem. I didn't like physics. And you know, when you're going to those fall orientation programs, I'd gone to Trent, U of T, McMaster, and then I landed at Queens. And there was a professor that saw my mom, who was honestly giddier than I was to be there. Because if you know anything about me, I grew up in predominantly Black and South Asian neighborhoods, and Queens was white as heck. And I was like, I don't think so. My mom was approached by a computer science professor who was like, your daughter should consider biomedical computing. Never heard of it before. And honestly, I thought it was pretty laughable because I had never taken computer science a day in my life. In my high school, the only students that took computer science were part of the STEAM program, which was like the top of the top smartest students at my school. So I was thinking like, girl, what do you think I'm going to do? I thought like there was no way that I could take computer science, but my mom was convinced. And there were two things that stood out to me. One was that I'd have all the prerequisites that I would need to apply to medical school if I still wanted to. And if I didn't, I could do software engineering and have a high paying job option. So that was my entry point. First year comes around, I'm learning, I'm coasting. Weirdly enough, I actually preferred my computer science courses over my life sciences courses. And that was probably the first indicator that I was no longer interested in becoming a doctor. And this is also the year that I learned that I love linear algebra. Now, second year rolls around, and this is like the bread and butter of computer science where you're actually learning the material. And I was struggling. I actually considered switching out of my program and switching into pure math or something. By this time, no longer cared to be a doctor, but also didn't really see myself being a software engineer because I was just passing my courses. And I believe a pass is like 65%. And if you're African, Caribbean, or Asian, you can probably relate to growing up in a very strict household, being high performing, but not having to do too much work to get there. And now you're putting in the work, but you're not performing well. It was such a blow to my self-confidence. And that was also affecting my mental health. And at the same time, like I was in some kind of denial about my mental health. And then I'm having all these mental health episodes, but at the same time, like rejecting it in the name of Jesus because of like the cultural aspects of it. Anyways, by second semester, second year, my grades started to look up, but I had decided that my grades weren't good enough for me to get an internship. So I didn't apply. Instead, I took summer school that year to get my grades back up. Third year rolls around and my grades are looking great. Now I'm taking like 6 courses in one semester to get my grades up. And I'm doing this because I also have a scholarship on the line that is contingent on my grade point average. We take a computer integrated surgery course and a bioinformatics course. Didn't care much for the bioinformatics, but the computer integrated surgery had like a computer vision component that I was interested in. Luckily, I find a mentor. She's a professor in the mechanical engineering department and she took me under her wing. I'm shadowing master's students, I'm shadowing PhD students.